All right, welcome to the People First Leadership Weekly Webinar. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Oh man, so it is 1 o'clock. We're going to get started. I know some of you are going to catch this on a replay, so let me get the chat open just in case somebody chimes in here. And we've got that going. And today I wanted to talk about how is your leadership creating burnout amongst your direct reports and your staff, and how we can lead without exhausting our team. Some of us are very, very driven people, and I get that. But we can't be so driven that we crush all of our direct reports and anybody who is working with us. I have an example of a local business here in West Michigan that I'm familiar with, and one of the owners is a driver, absolute 100% driver, just constantly go 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 go. The other owner is not. And as you can imagine, there's going to be some conflict within that team, and there is. And one of the pieces of advice that I gave to the person who was constantly a driver, I said, not everybody is built like you. In fact, 99.9% of the world's population is not built like you. And what you are doing is going to eventually burn out your partner. And once that happens, now you're going to be left with a bigger mess to fix. So you've got to be able to lead in a way that is sustaining and not just constantly go, 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 go. Because what you're doing is you're leading your way and you are not taking your partner along with you. And that's going to cause some problems, as it kind of already is. And that's why I'm here, right? So we're going to talk about 3 ways that you might be causing burnout within your team, within your staff. So way number 1, hidden ways that you could accidentally be causing team fatigue. Unclear priorities. If you have unclear priorities, then you're going to have your people working. And then once they're done working, they're going to find out, oh, well, we didn't quite hit the mark. We were supposed to do X, Y, and Z, but we were kind of preparing for L, M, and N. So now what do we do? Well, we've got to fix it. Now we've got to rework. So by having unclear priorities, you cause people to maybe second guess the work that they're doing, or they may not work in the right direction in the first place, and then they have to go back and rework. And now imagine if you're the person who's having to go back and do the reworking, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do this all over again, or I've got to modify this, or I've got to fix it. Had I just known what they wanted in the first place, I could have hit the mark. And that's where we as leaders have to always explain the why. I just got done talking about that with a group of training people that I was talking with earlier today. And I said, you have to share the why they are doing the thing and how that aligns with your goals, your mission, and your vision. Because if people don't understand that, then they're just working somewhat in vain. Now, yes, they know that they're being paid and that you're the boss and they're the employee and they've got to do what they're supposed to do. Sure. But if they understand how their work contributes to the greater good of the company, they're going to be a lot more likely to be engaged and understand why they are doing what they are doing. So share the why with them. That's really important. Also, and this is something that I think is misunderstood recently. We've had a lot of, I'd say in the past decade, a lot of talk about celebrating hard work. And yes, you won the trophy, but the hard work is what really got you there. So celebrate the grind. And yes, you did it. You worked hard. Working hard is its own reward. It created something good inside of you. It grew you as a person. So yes, work hard, grit, grind it out. Yes, all of those things. But we cannot celebrate that work over the health of our employees and our organization. So yes, working hard is fantastic. And I know there's a lot of people out there who talk about, you can sleep when you're dead, or you have to, don't worry about what other people say. They're just not working as hard as you. Sure. All those are great things to motivate you and maybe help you become more disciplined, because maybe you're not. And maybe we could all be a little bit more disciplined. But if you are working hard and you are giving 110%, and then somebody asks you for more, man, that's really hard to do that. So make sure you are taking time to think about the health of your organization and not just celebrating the hustle, celebrating the hard work. And yes, we're working hard. Yeah, but what are you accomplishing? Hard work has to end in an accomplishment, and there has to be a linear track or some sort of organizational track that shows that the work that you have done has produced this product. Because you can work really, really hard and get nothing done. Then that's going to disenfranchise your staff and your direct reports, because they're like, man, we're working really hard, but we're not doing anything. We're not accomplishing anything. Or vice versa, the opposite could also be true. Maybe you have some really easy wins and there's no hard work. And now everybody's like, oh, great. Yeah, wins are just coming. And then they kind of lose that idea of, man, we need to work. We need to work hard, because I read this in a magazine the other day that has nothing to do with business, but I think it's very, very appropriate. And they said, luck is luck, but luck is also, or is usually predicated on hard work and preparation. And I thought, yeah, the people who always seem to be lucky are not the people who just stumble into situations. Is there some of that? Sure. But the people who seem to be the luckiest and the things fall their way the most, it's usually because they've been consistently doing the work and consistently putting in effort. And then their hard work and preparation gets them in the right scenario, gets them in the right situation, and things come to them because of that. So they are not independent of each other. I think they work hand in hand. And oftentimes in our society, and see on social media, these people, quote unquote, blowing up and getting big. And yeah, they did, but they worked really hard for 3 years before that, So there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance of hard work and health, whether that be mental health, physical health, or just work health. So keep all of those things in mind. Point number 2, we have to model boundaries, balance, and recovery. And this kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about. We have to show our team what sustainable work looks like. Can you put in 12-hour days, 5 days a week? Sure. Are some people wired for that and can do that for extended periods of time? Sure. Can everybody? No, most people can't. Most people have a work life, and then they also have a home life. And their home life is very, very important to them. So we cannot discount, I want to go home at 5 o'clock. Well, what? You don't want to work hard? You don't want to advance in the company? Yeah, I do, but I have a daughter and a son and a wife who I love tremendously. And if it's between them and you, I'm going to choose them every single time. You have to respect those boundaries. Yes, there are people who are going to work 12-hour days because maybe they're single, they want to get ahead, and they're very, very motivated. Or maybe they're married and they're avoiding going home. I've seen that happen as well. There are going to be people who want to work 12-hour days. Sure. The majority of people don't. And that's okay. We have to respect that. Just because we're the leaders, we're the CEOs, the owners, maybe we work the 12-hour day and we think everybody else should too. Well, I'll tell you what. I own People First Coaching and Consulting, and there are things that I have turned down because it gets in the way of my family time. I have my family is experiencing a growth right now. No, we're not having another child. Not at all. But our oldest daughter's graduated high school and she's working. And so her schedule is changing. And it's like, you know what? We don't all get to sit down as a family for dinner anymore. And that was how my wife and I were very intentional about that as we were raising our daughters. Like family dinner together as often as possible. Do things come up? Sure. But now that my daughter has a working schedule, it's like, oh, she wasn't home for dinner 4 nights this week. And so if something comes up on that 5th night when we're all going to be there and, hey, Todd, can you actually, no, this is going to be the one night this week that we all get to have dinner together as a family. I'm going to take that opportunity. And that's okay. I know the world says work and grind it out and do what you need to do and you can have time with your family later. I don't subscribe to that. I don't. So have those healthy boundaries. Also, take breaks and vacations that your direct reports and your staff can see, but also share that with them and give them permission to do the same. Be like, hey, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going to be gone for a week. I'm not going to be reachable. You'll have my assistant. They'll be able to take care of everything that I can't. They will have emergency contact with me, but I'm going to be off the radar. So I'll see you next Monday. Have a great week. And then when they go on vacation, have that same respect. And maybe it's just, last day before their trip and you say, okay, Have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. You will not hear from us. Promise, you will not hear from us. Now, there is some preparation that goes along with that. I was just talking with one of my clients, and the VP of this company went on a vacation to Portugal, which sounds fantastic. I'd love to go. And that VP, for I think what she said was 2 months prior to her leaving on the trip, was preparing the staff and the direct reports for her, I think it was a 10-day vacation. So she was putting things in place 2 months ahead of time so that her vacation could be that vacation. And it was fabulous for her, and she had a fantastic time. And the staff respected that, and that was okay. So when your staff needs a break, needs to take a vacation, allow them that. Hold those boundaries for them the same that you hold them for yourself. They will respect that, appreciate that, and you will grow capacity with them because of it. The third point that I want to talk about is building sustainable momentum in your team. Now, here's the key word: sustainable. We can all have momentum, just like, if you're on a sledding hill in the wintertime with your kids and you're sitting at the very top and you got to kind of push yourself to get going. And then you get going down the hill and it's, we're having a great time. And then at the bottom of the hill, your momentum starts to slow down because that's what it's meant to do. What is sustainable? Can you go really, really fast for a short period of time? Yes, we're going to talk about that. But is that sustainable? Can you go fast for a long period of time? Some people are wired for that. Most are not. So what does sustainability look like in your momentum for your team? So you need to model that as well. Say, okay, all right, yes, we need to work until 7 o'clock tonight because we've got that 7 a.m. deadline tomorrow morning. So we need to get this banged out. Fantastic. Thanks. We've got it all done. All right, tomorrow, yep, we got to be here at 7 a.m. because we've got to make the presentation. But after lunch, you guys take the rest of the day. Oh, great. Now, can everybody do that? Are all leaders able to do that with their businesses? No, they can't. But what a great token of gratitude to recognize, hey, you've worked really hard, but I also know I don't want to burn you out. So I'm going to give you a little reprieve and a little break here and there. That is showing what is sustainable for your team. Find a good rhythm. Like, okay, and now I hate to keep breaking this down into like hours and days and weeks, 40 hours a week or 35 hours a week or 45 hours a week, whatever it is. But you have to find what is sustainable for your team, the rhythm that they can have and still maintain a good workflow without getting burned out. Because if you get to a point where you start to burn out your people, then you're going to be left with more holes because now we're going to need personal days. We're going to need mental health days. I just can't focus today, or I'm sick because I've been working overtime for so long. And now my physical health is kind of worn down. So now I'm sick. So I'm now out that time. All of these things we have to deal with. But if we just find good, sustainable momentum within your team, that is hugely important. And what does that look like? So are there going to be sprints from time to time? Yes, absolutely. And that's understood. But after a sprint, what do all the sprinters do? They just kind of walk around and they catch their breath. And the pace is snail's pace, super slow. That's okay. After a sprint, you should never go back to a hard run because you're just going to burn yourself out and exhaust yourself. I think about, the Olympics. We just had the Olympics a couple years ago, and the track and field. The different runners are built differently. The sprinters, super muscly and strong and, whatever, they're super fast. And when they're done with their race, they are absolutely exhausted because they gave everything for that 100 meters. They look physically much, much different than the marathoners. The marathoners run for hours at a time, and they're very slim. They're very slender. They're lightweight. They don't carry a lot of weight on their bodies because it's a different kind of running. Both runners have to have their workout regime, their program that they ascribe to, and that's what keeps their momentum going. Is they are dialed in for what they are doing. We all have different members on our team. Some of us on our team are sprinters. Some of us are long distance marathoners. We have to be able to know who can do what and where they fit in the team so that we don't burn out our direct reports and our team. So design what the sprints are going to look like. If you as the leader know, all right, we've got this deadline of Tuesday tomorrow or Tuesday next week. We're a little behind schedule. All right, let's have a quick huddle up here. All right, what needs to happen in order to get this completed by Tuesday? Because I see that we are behind schedule. What does this look like? All right, well, hey, Todd, if everybody puts in 30 extra minutes each day for the next 3 or 4 days, we'll get caught back up. All right, that's a design sprint. Then afterwards, the project is delivered. Everything's good. Okay, let's bring it back down a notch. All right, yep, we're just going to take a day. Hey, I'm gonna buy pizza for lunch tomorrow. I'll bring in some coffee and donuts. Let's take a break. Let's take a breather before we ramp back up to the next project. Okay, that's good. That's really good because now you're taking into consideration everybody on your team. Also, acknowledge progress, not just outcomes. Now, this goes back to kind of what we were talking about at the very beginning. We were talking about, celebrating the hustle and working really hard, but did we accomplish anything? Well, sometimes our projects are long and we have to just make progress. We cannot be only focused on outcomes. Did we get it? Did we get it done? Yes or no? Yes, we got it done, but it's garbage. Well, then who cares if we got it done? Like, let's make good progress. And you as a leader need to be the thermostat that reads the temperature of the room. You have to go in and say, all right, hey, we're working really hard. We're making good progress. I recognize that. And maybe just that sentence, maybe just those words are what you can say. You come, hey, everybody, you are all working really hard. I see that. I also want you to know that we are ahead of schedule on this project, and I recognize that. I see what you're doing. Thank you for your efforts. Have a great day. And then that's it. Maybe that's it. Some people just need to be seen and heard and recognized. And you as a leader can give that to them. Now, I also know leaders who are like, well, I don't want to feed their egos, or I don't want to feel like I have to, placate to them or baby them or anything like that. How about you just do it anyways? Because it's going to make people feel good. And making people feel good is okay. It's not just always, hammers and bricks. Sometimes we need some softness in there, some feathers, something that's nice that makes us feel good. Now, again, and I've talked about this in past webinars, not everybody is good with public praise. So maybe you don't single anybody out. You just address the whole group. Hey, thank you for your hard work. I see what you're doing. I appreciate it. And I see that you've been working really diligently. Look at the progress we have made. We were here last week. Look where we're at today. That's leaps and bounds ahead of where we were a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I had this conversation with one of my training groups recently, and I said, think about when we first started working together. We've been working together probably 3 or 4 months, and I said, look at what we've accomplished. Look where you were 3 months ago. Look where you are now. Look at the mindset that you have now. I specifically worked with a company here locally in West Michigan last summer, and we did some pretty intensive work together. And I keep bringing them back because we've re-engaged a little bit. And I said, look at where you were last summer. And then that kind of slipped away because honestly, you've taken your foot off the gas pedal and have not been consistent. But we can get back to that. And it's going to be easy to get back to it because we were already there once. So we know the process and we know the procedures. Yes, you've done it once. Let's do it again. Let's get going. So acknowledge the process, not just outcomes. Are outcomes important to acknowledge as well? Yes. Wow. Todd, everything's important as a leader. Yeah. Welcome to leadership. You are the leader. You have to keep these things all in check. You have to keep these things balanced for your people. I keep using the analogy of parents and kids because that's what work is. Leaders at work are the work mom and dad. And then the direct reports and the staff, they're the work kids. And we have to keep, just as parents have to keep the household functioning and running and making sure Billy and Susie have their lunch for school and making sure dinner is ready when it's time to eat dinner and everybody goes to bed on time and has good sleep habits and brushes their teeth and takes a shower and all of that. As leaders at work, we have to do the same thing. We are maintaining the work household. That is what the company is. And we have to maintain that so that there is health with our staff, health with our direct reports, that they are maintaining sustainable work rhythms and lives, but also that they're taking breaks so that, the old phrase, all work and no play makes, well, yeah, you know it. So think about that as you go out and you start to mentor and coach, and think about your own staff and direct reports. Are you working at a pace or asking them to work at a pace that is going to burn them out? And if you are, what are some breaks or pauses you can put in there? Do you need to set some professional boundaries? Maybe. Do they need to set some professional boundaries? Yes. And should you let them? Maybe. These are all really good questions. And I want you to take time to think about your own leadership, your own organization, business, company, whatever it may be, and think about, am I pushing too hard? Conversely, am I not pushing hard enough? Because sometimes that is the case as well. You know what? We are maintaining a turtle's pace, but we were at a snail's pace last year. Honestly, we can kick this up to a steady walk. We really can. And maybe that's a boundary that you need to push because, we're not getting enough done. That's also something that you as a leader need to maintain and look at. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. Think about them, and then I would love to hear back from you. Reach out to me, give me some feedback, and then if you have questions about your own business, your own organization, if you found value in this, let's have a conversation and see if this could be of help to you in your business and organization. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time, and I know a lot of you are going to catch this on the replay. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week.